Damzu second.
Die baan wees nie, Terry Moss is daar, so ook Willie Hepburn, albei manne wat nie die vorige wedren kon voltooi nie, en dit beloof om letterlik vuurwerke te verskaf in hierdie tweede wedren. Daar is Johan Coetzee in die Gearmax Skyline wat baie goeie oorwinning in klas B behaal het in die eerste wedren. Sarel van der Merwe aan die voorpunt, Chris Aberdeen net agter hom. Daar is Ben Morgenrood, daar is Gary Dunkerley, daar is Willie Hepburn, daar is Larry Wolford. Hy kon ook nie die vorige wedren voltooi nie. Hy is terug, so almal behalwe Tony Viana is in hierdie wedren.
And as they come up to the line, there's Sarel van der Merwe dictating the pace of this race as he gets away from the starting line. He's got that four-wheel drive Bosel Audi tucking in behind him. Sarel van der Merwe, winner of the first race here today, wants to make it a double. Tremendous speed as they upwards of 280 kilometers an hour as they're going to drive corner. And Terry Moss already going round into third position. He's going round the outside of Willie Hepburn in that big save at Opal. It's Van der Merwe in the front in the Sassel Ford Sapphire. Bosel Audi of Aberdeen. Moss pushes his way into third. Willie Hepburn's next in fourth, ahead of Morgenrood as it was in the first race. Morgenrood has the frustration of closing up right on his tail and then finding Willie has the power to pull away down the straight, and they're getting him sideways. These are the Class A cars in front. Just behind, Johan Coetzee's holding off. He's holding off the BMWs. And they are neck and neck as they go down. And Terry Moss has now gone into second position. He means business this time. He went out with gearbox trouble. He thought it was a linkage after the first race. Aberdeen's back into third position. Aberdeen, the lighter of the Audis. Moss carrying more weight than Aberdeen. Is getting it sideways. Four-wheel drive or not. And now they're showing this tremendous speed down the straight. Coming towards us at 280 kilometers an hour. It's Sarel van der Merwe. Very late on the braking. The exhaust pipe is just behind the front wheel, the right-hand front wheel. Moss holds on to second in the new livery of the Rothmans Audi. The Bosel Audi of Aberdeen, the lighter one. You can see the acceleration. He gets out of the corner like a slingshot. Then it's Willie Hepburn, keeping Ben Morgenrood in that Mazda Bay. They go round and round, checkered flag corner. It's round and round they go. It's a 180-degree one, a very fast one indeed. A short straight. Now they're international. Coming into the Rothmans. The short straight of the Rothman straight, and Moss is doing all he knows. Might be overheating his tyres, as we'll see later in this race. And the Class A cars are absolutely tied together as they go around the circuit. Aberdeen equalled Moss's lap record in the first race. At the moment, it's Sarel just hanging on by the skin of his teeth to the lead. Let's hope that Moss is not overheating his tyres, or Aberdeen the same. We've just finished the one lap. We've got 11 laps to go.
11 rondes van aksie en opwinning aan die boonste rakke wat voor lê, en ek is seker dat Terry Moss te vinnig gejaag het van die begin af. Hy en Willie Hepburn was van die begin af baie haastig om by daai klas B motors verby te kom, soos ons gesê het, en lank voor die einde van die pouvak was hulle reeds tussen die klas A motors, en Terry Moss en Willie Hepburn reeds by Ben Morgenrood verbygekom. Dit was absolute genade net dat hulle nie aan mekaar geraak het en mekaar van die baan af gejaag het nie. So Terry Moss wat baie kort op die hakke van Sarel van der Merwe is. Sarel van der Merwe wat 'n goeie oorwinning en baie goeie taktiese wedren gejaag het in die eerste wedren in sy Sassel Ford Sapphire, en hy het nou vir Terry Moss op sy korter sake in die Rothmans Audi Quattro, en ek dink daar die motor van hom se bande gaan nie hou nie. Hy dra natuurlik ekstra gewig, soos ons daar reeds 'n paar keer van melding gemaak het, omdat hy 'n paar oorwinnings reeds behaal het, en jy kan sien dat daardie motor vir hom heen en weer oor die baan beweeg, as gevolg van die feit dat hy aan die een kant baie hard probeer en aan die ander kant 'n stuk of 80 kg ekstra gewig moet dra. 80 kg meer as die ander motors in die klas, wat beteken dat sy bande net soveel meer gemartel word. Vir die derde keer af in die topsport pylvak. Dis 750 meter en aan die einde van daardie pylvak 270 km/h. En as hulle die windjie van agter gehad het, dan sou dit waarskynlik nader aan 280 gewees het. Die wind het gaan lê. Vroeër vandag het dit baie sterk uit die noordweste gewaai. Maar hy het nou gaan lê, dit het nou begin koud word. Die baanoppervlak is baie kouer as wat dit vroeër was. Die sonnetjie sak weg in die weste kant. En dit maak dit natuurlik bietjie makliker in die stuurkajuite van hierdie motors. Willie Hepburn is nog steeds in die vierde plek. In sy Seibert Opel, in die vyfde plek in die Mazda Motorsport. Die Mazda 323 is dit nog steeds Ben Morgenrood. Hulle is 'n hele entjie verder terug. Maar enigiets kan nog gebeur in hierdie wedren. 3 rondes reeds afgelê. Daar's 12 rondes in totaal. Daar is 9 wat oorbly. En Van der Merwe gaan alles wat hy kan moet uithaal, maar ek het 'n idee dat Terry Moss nie in hierdie posisie van hom gaan bly nie. Steek 'n bietjie kop uit as hy sê dat hy dit nie gaan doen nie. Hy is natuurlik 'n man wat daarvan 'n reputasie het dat hy, as hy desperaat raak, dan kan hy enigiets uithaal. Maar Van der Merwe het beslis die spoed in die agterste pouvak. Chris Aberdeen is besig om nader te kom aan Terry Moss. Willie Hebburn het nie heeltemal die snelheid wat hy vroeër gehad het nie. Ek wonder of hy probleme het met daardie motor vir hom. Maar Ben Morgenrood kan ook nog nie heeltemal inhaal op hom nie. Dis 'n relatief kort renbaan hierdie Midvaal renbaan, 2,5 km lank in totaal. Met 'n baie lang pouvak van 750 meter en die res van die baan word opgeneem deur 'n klomp baie skerp draaie. Dis hier waar versnelling baie belangrik is, dis hier waar hantering baie belangrik is en waar die verskil tussen die turbo aangejaagde vierwiel aangedrewe motors en die agterwiel aangedrewe motors nie heeltemal so groot is nie. Daar is 5de en 6de in klas A en verder terug in klas B is dit nog Johan Coetzee en sy Gearmax Skyline wat die voortou het oor Dion Joubert in die BMW 535i van die BMW Motorsport. En verder terug is dit Gary Dunkerley wat in die derde plek in klas B is. Larry Wolfer is ook nog in die wedren en hy is op die oomblik in die vierde plek in klas B. Maar die aandag beslis gevestig hier op die stryd in klas A. Sarel van der Merwe wat van die begin af voorloop, het 'n baie goeie wegspring gehad. Hy het die voordeel natuurlik gehad dat hy die wegspring tempo kon bepaal. In 'n bewegende wegspring is hierdie nuwe baanrekord vir Chris Aberdeen. 1 minuut 4,14 sekondes, 64 sekondes is nog nie heeltemal so vinnig. Dis bietjie vinniger as wat ons vroeër gehad het in die 250 renstelle. Maar Chris Aberdeen wat so al wat hy kan probeer om by Terry Moss by te kom. Ek dink daardie bandeprobleem van Terry Moss gaan 'n al groter rol begin speel, Roger. Daar is nou 5 rondes wat afgelê is, daar's nog 7 wat oorbly en enigiets kan nog gebeur en ek het die idee dat die bande van Terry Moss nie gaan hou nie.
Well, Sarel van der Merwe is driving as if his reputation was at stake here. It's one thing for Moss to close up and to hold van der Merwe. It's another thing to pass him and then to hold on to that lead. He's got a man with vast experience, 12 South African titles behind him in racing and rallying. And Moss has got the speed. He's losing out possibly on the braking and on the corners. But van der Merwe's Sassel Ford Sapphire is going like a rocket. Terry Moss hanging there, his teammate Chris Aberdeen in the bows allowed. He's setting up lap records. And Ben Morgan with frustration. Every time he closes up around the corners, right onto Willie Hepburn's big Sabre at Opel, that big roaring V8. He only to see Hepburn vanish off down the straight when the acceleration comes into play. You can see it in that straight a little bit later as Moss closes up. He's got four-wheel drive. It's rear-wheel drive and turbocharging for the Ford. He's got the handling in its new livery. The Rothmans livery. We're at the halfway mark now. We're talking about 15 kilometers of this race to go. It's a 2.5 kilometer circuit. The weight they talk about in the cars, that Moss is carrying more weight than Aberdeen's a handicapping system that is used in these motor cars. And it's only that four-wheel drive system on that Audi that allows it to go off the road like that and recover so quickly. Normally to have the car going sideways coming out of corners like that. And Van der Merwe's got the speed. No doubt about it, he's opening up. That turbocharger is now holding on in that Sassel Ford this time and not letting him down, and he is going away from them. He's opened up a bit of a lead. He won the first race here this afternoon. Terry Moss is the class champion. Once again, he closes up. It's that four-wheel drive coming into action once again. The exhaust pipe exits just behind the right front wheel of the Ford, so you'll see those long flames coming out from the turbocharger. It's a 2-litre Cosworth motor. Pushes out an immense amount of power. And there's Willie Hepburn getting it all sideways, just and accelerating away from Morganwood. He sounds like a V12 Ferrari as he comes past us. Sarel van der Merwe, it looks like a motor car. They're all weigh pretty much the same. He's got to watch that his tyres don't go off as well, and that means the tyre starts to lose its grip and start to slip and slide all over the place. And these 5 cars are covered by something like 100 metres. 5 laps to go. The speed, the Ford has no doubt got the speed. It's a 2-wheel drive. Then is Aberdeen. He's got the speed behind him. He's got a lap record to boot. And here's Willie Hepburn, very late on the brakes, got the speed. Morganwood even later on the brakes to close up under his wing. And he just puts that big V8 5.7 litres of American horsepower into operation. And here the Mazda screaming away. It's popping and squeaking in this class, and the big roar of this V8. Sounds like a low-flying bomber, and you can see what we're saying now. Morganwood closes right up. And as they come out of here, just watch Hepburn accelerate away. Gets it sideways again. Morgan Rood looking for a place to come past, and Willie gets himself 2 lengths just like that. Morgan Rood tucks in behind him. It's frustrating for him. He's taken off his aerodynamics. Look, you can see right under the back of the motor car, he used to have a tray under there, diffusers they call it, to get more suction of that motor car down on the road. But he removed it for this race, and he was getting too much traction and was causing it to understeer in the front. Touch of the brakes as they go through the Mayerton corner onto the top sport straight, and there's the power of the V8. Just starts to open up a gap. He's got another couple of car lengths, and they're getting into the slower traffic now. It's Larry Wolford on the left-hand side of your screen as they arrive in a hurry. Very late braking by Morgan Rood once again. But they are just waiting for something to happen. Here's the power of that V8. Opened up the gap again, another 2 car lengths. Morgan Rood late on the braking. They'll get back on Willie Hepburn's tail. Lovely to see Willie Hepburn back in this racing. He'll get right on his tail as he just feeds that power. You can so easy get away from him and go sideways. Morgan Rood back on his tail here now. Hepburn opens up the gap and he gains another car length. But we're now getting to the stage where something's got to happen. Has Sorrel van der Merwe done enough? Has he conserved his tyres? Is that turbocharger going to hold out in the Ford? He's done so well this afternoon. We've finished lap 9, we're on lap 10, we've got 11 and 12 to go, and Moss is getting it sideways, and that's where you see four-wheel drive coming again. He just powers it back onto the road and just leaves that plume of dust behind him. And Morgan Rood is waiting for Willie Hepburn to make one little mistake, overbrake or leave it too late, and he's going to be through.
Wel, ek dink nog steeds bande gaan 'n belangrike rol speel in hierdie wedren. Roger, is duidelik nog steeds dat Chris Aberdeen eintlik vinniger is as Terry Moss, maar die baan is so kort en so draaierig dat hy nie eintlik werklik die geleentheid kry om by hom verby te kom nie. Daar is Terry Moss, die man op die oomblik in die tweede posisie in sy splinternuwe, maar dis nie 'n nuwe motor nie, is net 'n nuwe borgskap, die Rothmans AD Quattro, die van Terry Moss. En Chris Aberdeen, sy spanmaat in die Bosel Audi op die oomblik in die derde plek, as nog 3 rondes wat oorbly. Nog 2 rondes wat oorbly. En dit lyk of Terry Moss besig is om weg te trek van Chris Aberdeen af. Is daar dalk 'n bandeprobleem? Of het Chris Aberdeen besluit om die derde plek maar agter sy naam te skryf? Chris Aberdeen was in die eerste wedren vanmiddag tweede gewees. Ben Morgenrood was derde. Op die oomblik is Ben Morgenrood in die 5de plek en hy probeer ook so al wat hy kan om by Willie Hepburn verby te kom. Die stadiger motors is besig om nou in spel te kom en Gary Dunkerley wys vir hulle kom verby in die binnekant. Hy gaan nie die rede wees waarom enige van hierdie voorlopers van die baan af gaan jaag nie. In klas B is dit nog steeds Johan Coetzee wat nie eintlik veel oppositie het van Dion Joubert nie. Dion Joubert wat die enigste BMW in klas B is nou in hierdie tweede wedren. Onverklaarbaar op die oomblik waarom. En dis die laaste ronde gewees daardie. Sarah van der Merwe wat hier 'n oorwinning behaal. Sarah van der Merwe met Terry Moss in die tweede plek en Chris Aberdeen in die derde plek. Daar is Willie Hepburn in die vierde plek. En Ben Morgenrood kom in die 5de posisie. Volgens ons baantelling het ons net 11 rondes afgelê, maar nou ja, ons aanvaar wat die baanbeampte sê. Dit was dan 12 rondes. Sarah van der Merwe, Terry Moss en Chris Aberdeen, die eerste 3. Klas B dan Johan Coetzee wat 'n goeie oorwinning behaal, redelik gemaklik, heel wat makliker as in die eerste wedren. Was dit Johan Coetzee wat oor Dion Joubert geseëvier het in die klas B wedren, en in die derde plek daar was dit Gary Dunkerley gewees.
Right, so that's 2 wins there for Sarah van der Merwe. He's certainly back in business there, this legendary champion, South African champion. And it's going to be a very happy Sasol Ford team. The Rothmans Audi acquitting itself exceptionally well. A linkage problem with the gearbox in the first race, but certainly redeeming itself in the second there. Terry Moss, a great performance. He's leading the Wesbank Championship at the moment in that motor car. But Van der Merwe certainly will be very happy. And he doesn't normally exhort to being over-enthusiastic, but this time he genuinely is glad to have won this race. There's those 2 exhaust pipes just behind the front wheel, and just see there's the joy in the team. Very happy to see him do that. Terry Moss second, Chris Aberdeen in third position on the Bosel Audi, and then we had Willie Hepburn next in the Sabat Opel, frustrating Ben Morgenrud coming home in fifth position in the Mazda triple rotor. Right, so the result of this, the official result of this was first Sorrel van der Merwe in the Sassel Ford Sapphire, with Moss right in his tail, under half a second behind him. Chris Aberdeen, his teammate in the Bosel Audi, was third. Of course, Moss in the Rothmans Audi. Willie Hepburn, nice to have him back in racing that big Sabre V8 Opel. And Morgenrud right on his tail at the finish. Class B won by the Gearmax Skyline of the Uncould ahead of Dean Jabir in the BMW and Gary Dunkley in the Sabat Porsche. Very good racing from the Wesbank Modifieds.